Doubts about the sanctity of private property. The sanctity of private property is a hallmark of developed capitalist countries and is a shared sentiment among renowned Western philosophers, thinkers, and sociologists. Some even equate private property with life itself, claiming both are bestowed by heaven and thus require protection. I support the notion that private property is sacred and inviolable. This concept is much more civilized than the brutal law of the jungle, and any act of infringing on someone else's property is a crime and an affront to their dignity and life. If private property isn't protected, society would devolve into an animalistic world, preventing humanity from achieving a civilized society. My question is, what exactly is private property? In my understanding, what one is born with constitutes private property, such as eyes, nose, hands, feet, body, etc. Everything beyond these is public property. Some argue that if someone catches a fish from a river, that fish is their private property. If someone harvests 800 pounds of wheat from their field, those 800 pounds of wheat are their private property. If someone builds a house, that house is their private property. I agree with this viewpoint. However, let's examine if these truly are private properties. A corrupt official accumulates 10,000 taels of silver in 3 years. Is this corrupt official's silver his private property? A thief secretly steals $100,000 and builds a villa. Is this villa private property? Someone forcefully acquires a coal mine and earns $1 billion. Is this $1 billion private property? A company makes and sells counterfeit drugs, earning $1 billion. Is this $1 billion private property? The land under heaven belongs to the king. Does this mean all land belongs to the king's private property? This tree was planted by me. This road was opened by me. To pass through, leave a toll. Since the tree and road are someone's private property, does leaving a toll align with the sanctity of private property? Political power grows out of the barrel of a gun. Similarly, does money obtained through power, violence, trickery, extortion, and deception count as private property? Private property is sacred and inviolable, is a cornerstone of civilization, a necessary condition for social development, and a vital factor for the growth of productive forces. But what constitutes private property must be clearly defined. Land can be bought and sold. Mineral resources can be bought and sold. Can lakes and rivers be bought and sold? If someone buys them, does that mean the land, minerals, lakes, or rivers become private property, barring people from using the water or fishing in the lakes? Is this also sacred and inviolable? Suppose someone someday possesses the capability to claim the moon and then charges the entire Earth a tax for moonlight usage. Is that reasonable? I want to ask those advocating the sanctity of private property. If you get married, is your wife your private property or public property? If she is private property, does this mean people can become private property, justifying slavery? If she is public property, would you agree? Would you want your wife to be a public wife? A person's body is their innate private property, and it should be sacred and inviolable, right? Then why is it interfered with, prohibited, and even criminalized if a woman sells her body? Why is a person's freedom to arrange their private property, their body, attacked by public opinion, condemned morally, and suppressed legally? Isn't it absurd and laughable? Isn't it hypocritical and shameless? Absolute fairness is impossible. It hinders social productivity and leads to societal poverty and decadence. But think about it. A farmer works hard year-round and still can't make ends meet, while a financial manipulator easily earns millions or even billions annually. Is this fair? Stop chanting the high-sounding slogan of the sanctity of private property. If you genuinely care about the public and societal progress, think more about how to ensure people live comfortably and happily. For those with a dilapidated house and an old quilt, don't fantasize about the sanctity of your private property. Once the sanctity of private property becomes a societal, moral, and legal standard, your house and quilt will vanish in an instant. You won't be involved in making or enforcing laws, and you and your descendants will be proletarians forever, with private property having nothing to do with you. July 10th, 2024.